So here's the results from one of the groups for activity 1. And I really like the way they laid out F1 plus F2, and they showed their work and everything. So F1 was 5 newtons at 0 degrees. So I'm just going to draw it. 5 newtons at 0 degrees. And then we added to it. F2 was measured to be 5 newtons at 180 degrees. Now, it would have been nice to have it to the nearest tenth of a newton, but that's cool. So here's F1 plus F2. Now notice that 0 degrees means nothing in the y direction, it's all in the positive x direction. 180 degrees means nothing in the y direction, it's all in the negative x direction. Does that make sense? I mean, you can use cosine and sine if you want. But, so you have this force plus this force equals 0. So when you add the two forces together, you get 0 force. So then we had the loop like this. I'll go ahead and draw. You had a loop like this, and you pulled on it with this spring scale, pulled on it like this with this spring scale, but now it's with 10 newtons to the right, and then 10 newtons, and they measured 10 newtons to the left. So you're getting the same force. Are all of you getting about the same force? Right? If you're pulling with 10 newtons to the right, you'll also pull with 10 newtons to the left. So when you add this vector F1 plus this vector F2, you get 0. And with 15 newtons, did you get 15 newtons? Some of you, I asked you to measure the nearest tenth of a newton, and you might have been a little tiny bit off, right? Maybe you measured 15.0 and 14.8, something like that. That's not bad. When you add them up, you won't get exactly 0, but you'll get something that's really, really tiny. In reality, though, if your measuring tools were perfect, you would get 0 when you added the two vectors together. So you take from polar coordinates to rectangular coordinates, you add your rectangular coordinates together, and you get 0, 0, 0. And then you can use Pythagorean theorem and inverse tangent. Undefined 0. Undefined 0 is your magnitude and direct. Well, it's just 0. What direction is a 0 vector? It doesn't have a direction. That's undefined. Okay? Now you all use your data, but I like the way this was laid out. The only thing I'd like to see is to the nearest tenth of a newton. You could have measured a little more precisely. Does this make sense to everybody? Any questions? Okay, we're now going to move on to the next activity.